The fuck going on in this bitch? You know what it is, man. They call me the Black Charlie Sheen. Today I'm bringing you a tournament game. So I joined this official Smogon tournament. This is one of the biggest Smogon tournaments you can possibly join. And in round one, I'm playing a person named Drifting. Very polite person, very nice to talk to, and it was a big pleasure to play against him. And I decided to use my Specs Iron Moth team. I did a bunch of testing last week with different teams, and I felt like this team I had the most comfort with, so to say. It was a little bit awkward with the Greninja release. So this team doesn't do too well against certain Greninja sets, because obviously Greninja been out for like 2 days, and this team has been built before that. But so this is game one. I noticed that my opposition is using the team that Jamvat got to rank 1 with. So I know the team, I have this team, I have the sets for this team. So I knew pretty much what every single team member is gonna do. Like if I didn't know the team, I would have thought that Goldengo was Scarfed, for example, or even Meowscarada. But Meowscarada was heavy duty boots, aka heavy duty booty. Volcarona was bulky Volcarona, and honestly, bulky Will-O-Wisp Volcarona gives my team problems because my way of checking Volcarona usually is like Garnocracle together with Dragonite. But you know, obviously, if Volcarona can Will-O-Wisp and Morning Sun and all that type of shit and Terra into something, I knew it was Terra Fairy, then it would be very problematic. Garnocracle still beats it, so my main idea was to keep Garnocracle as healthy as possible for the Volcarona, not to be like not to lose to it. Dragonite is also somewhat of a problem, but if I bring Dragonite low enough, like I have a lot of checks for Dragonite, right? So I have Rocky Helmet, Corviknight that I can break the multi-scale, I can do some damage with Brave Bird. I have Shizor with Bullet Punch, so I'm able to, if it's below half, for example, then I'm able to revenge it before it can roost or any of that. Then I also have Scarf Dragapult. Scarf Dragapult outspeeds Dragonite even at +2, and obviously cannot get E-speeded, so Dragonite should not be too much of a problem. Goldengo is a little bit problematic because it's quite difficult to switch into, so I'm gonna need to use Specs Iron Moth to do damage to that. It's obviously Covert Cloak as well, so like Garnocracle outside of beating Volcarona is completely useless, you know? Then my own Dragonite is sort of a win con, but again, I had to be careful about the Volcarona. Usually Dragonite is used to beat Volcaronas and set up on them, but I cannot set up on this specific one. Meowscarada is a little bit annoying because it outspeeds most of my team, but Corviknight always comes in. It doesn't have to fear Switcheroo and all that shit. So let's get into the game, I guess. This is a little bit of breakdown of the first the first battle. He leads Garnocracle here. He leads Garnocracle, which I was like, damn. I mean, it's pretty good against my team. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I should have just let Scissor or something, maybe U-turn or whatever. But I don't really beat Garnocracle well enough. Though this is a max Fizzdev Garnocracle. So, Specs Iron Moth, I get a crit here. I definitely get really lucky with this Energy Ball crit. But that Energy Ball would have put him really, really low. And even if he went for Salt Cure or Rocks, for example, he would have been forced to switch out after, or will have to like just, you know, protect, or like it would put pretty much my opposition in a situation where Garnocracle would have been in a pretty dangerous spot overall, like weakening it in exchange for damage on Iron Moth, even Salt Cure and all that stuff, because it's not a Volcarona that is 4 times weak to Salt Cure, right? It's only 2 times weak to. So that wasn't the worst, you know. Obviously, luck was on my side here, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's not the worst. All right, so yeah, then I usually don't do these like post narrations, bro. Like, this is a little bit. I have to be a little bit more serious about this shit, right? But he goes into Dragonite surprisingly. As actually no, yeah, he goes into Dragonite on the Iron Moth. I just bring in Corviknight. My idea is that I just wanted to break his multiscale and then go into my checks to Dragonite, right? But then he double switches with the Dragonite into Volcarona on my Corviknight, which is a good play. It is definitely a good play, but again, for Volcarona, I always have Garnocracle. I know this set. This is Terra Fairy. It's Will-O-Wisp. Like, it can do nothing to me, right? So here, I do go for Stealth Rock knowing that Great Tusk is coming out, but I'm trying to pressure the Great Tusk to want to spin. Honestly, Rocks didn't really matter because these three are heavy duty booty, right? But I just didn't really like I didn't need to click anything else. Like what I'm trying to say is that if I sold cure, he always brings in Goldango anyways, right? Goldango takes nothing. It's covert cloak, so soul cure doesn't give me any progress, right? Soul curing the Great Tusk, like again, he could have gone just easily Goldango. I would have to switch. So instead of getting no damage on Goldango and no residual damage, I at least, I don't know, get up rocks, I suppose, to then have to switch out. But he goes into Great Tusk. I just go into Corviknight. Obviously, you know, knockoff is very obvious, but we get a little bit of chip damage on the Great Tusk. That Great Tusk is bulk up, if I'm not wrong. So he goes for Rapid Spin here. I'm just trying to weaken it a little bit. This does absolutely no damage. This, I have this team. I'm pretty sure I have this team, but I didn't really check the sets. Where is that shit? Hold on. This is this one. Yeah. It is. Oh, it is almost max defense and still bulk up. Oh, yeah. Holy shit. This is like max defense. Pretty much call this max defense at this point. Now, I roost here just to be a little bit healthier for the Meowscarada and the Dragonite. And I know that he's going to either Nasty Plot or Shadow Ball. So I want to tank that hit, just U-turn out into Iron Moth freely. And what happens here is I decide to go for Terra Flying Hurricane. And the reason for that is that I thought that at +2, this Goldango will Dynamax to be able to take a Fiery Dance and kill me back. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure Shadow Ball should kill me. I didn't calc that, but it might not actually. Iron Moth has good Spadef. But I was trying to catch the Terra of obviously him trying to not be weak to Fire move, right? So I just Terra Flying Hurricane here and I miss. Which I guess kind of makes up for the crit on Garnockle, because that Hurricane would have been incredible damage on the Dragonite, right? We would have broken the multiscale, and I think it probably would have done like about 40% at least I think. Because it's specs, stab, all that shit, you know what I mean? So that was rather unfortunate. For some reason, opposition goes for extreme speed. I didn't really understand that. But I guess that's fine because it means the multi-skill is still broken. I always U-turn out. Iron Moth comes in again, bro. Iron Moth is just now gonna go stupid. I go for Fiery Dance just because Goldango doesn't have boosts right now, right? Hurricaning again would have been better, but Goldango has no boosts. So I'm not really fearing an attack from Goldango. I get a Fiery Dance special attack raise, which is really nice because I just go for Fiery Dance again, as I know this time he can't Earthquake me, right? I'm immune to that. Extreme Speed is not going to do too much unless he decides to Terra, but even if he Terras, it will do just a little bit over half if I remember correctly. Now, we bring him pretty low here with Fiery Dance, with a +1 Fiery Dance. Luckily, I did get a special attack raise. But now, obviously, if he Terras, he's going to kill me with extreme speed, so I need to switch. I just bring in Dragapult. As I told you already, Dragapult outspeeds Dragonite at +2, even at +2. So this I definitely outspeed. I'm not gonna let him roost. Draco, even if he Terras into normal, kills from this range, and big threat gone, very big threat gone. We still have all of our 6 Pokemon, so we're up 6-4. You know, Scarlet comes out. Corviknight is a free switch. I don't have my Rocky Helmet anymore, but still, you know, yeah. He goes for spikes, that's absolutely fine. I'm pretty sure I just U-turn here, knowing that he's gonna switch out. No, I just Brave Bird, okay. I just Brave Bird in case he decided to keep going for spikes, right? At this point, this is like all fine, because spikes don't even affect Iron Moth right now, because it's a flying type. And every time Goldango comes out, I can just freely U-turn, because that's a slower U-turn, and I get to bring in Iron Moth for free. So every time Iron Moth comes out right now, it just gets a kill, right? So I just go for Fiery Dance. Fire Dance mercs this shit. Meowscarada comes out, I'm pretty sure I just stay in, and yeah. I know that knockoff non-bandit doesn't kill, but it still does an insane amount of fucking damage. If we got a special attack raise last turn, we would have killed it right here, but it really doesn't even matter. I just keep this to kill the Goldango. I just need to make sure that I have Iron Moth out when Volcarona comes in. Because then, in this case, I will not... yeah, and now you turn into Iron Moth again. I will not have to go into +1 Volcarona, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just Fiery Dance, get the special attack raise, but Meowscarada comes back in. It's just really vice versa at this point. Like, it really doesn't fucking matter. Knockoff happens, crits me, kills me. This game is basically done. Like, I just go Dragonite. This is my opportunity to set up with Dragonite. He keeps knocking off. He should have just actually gone straight into Volcarona here. Then he still might have been able to win. But the fact that it is Terra Fairy it means that Scissor kind of checks it to an extent as well. Plus, I have a full health Garnokrakel. So, like, Garnokrakel always just beats the Volcarona no matter what happens, you know what I mean? Like, he can do anything, even if he sets up a lot of boosts, because resisted Flamethrower is not going to do shit. So, yeah, game 1, we win pretty convincingly. The team went stupid. Iron Moth just came in and every time just gave so many problems to the opposition, right? Now let's get to game 2. Game 2 was a lot more interesting to an extent. Let's switch sides, turn off the music. I decided to go with the same team because I'm already 1 game up. I know this team the best. I had about 3 or 4 more teams that I was ready to use in the tournament. But again, because I was 1 game up, I figured that if I lose this game, then next time I'm just gonna bring another team, a different team, potentially a little bit more reliable team. I do have some more reliable teams, but they're just a little bit slower to play. The structure of play is a little bit slower with them, right? Now, my opposition decides to switch up the teams. I think I know this team, but I couldn't really like think off the top of my head and find it in my builder. The thing is, though, as I already said, bulky Volcarona gives me quite a bit of problems. Only Garnokrakel really beats it. Like, bulky Volcarona can pretty much set up on everything, and only Garnokrakel is the thing that can stop it. So, like, I have to be careful. This is something that I didn't want to see. So what I'm saying is that even in game 1, I'd say I had a team disadvantage. That for sure was a team disadvantage. So there was a lot of tools that were good against me. In this game, it's even worse because Xianpao is quite problematic for this team. I have Scissor as an offensive check. Corvic Knight is a defensive check, but really, it's really not. It just gets fucking marked by... it only just allows me to get 2 rounds of Rocky Helmet damage on the Xianpao, you know, and that's about it, because it just gets fucking destroyed if hazards are up anyways. So Xianpao is a big threat. Volcarona, if it's bulky defensive, it gives me problems as well. Great Tusk, I don't really appreciate that too much. And Clodsire is not that big of an issue, but Dragapult doesn't do shit to it. Like, Dragapult, for example, here, Scarf Dragapult is not even that amazing. It doesn't really do too much, but it will come into play a little bit later. It can soft check Dragonite, as I said. It can outspeed even at +2. It can soft check Goldango if it gets low, right? It can come in and attack the Xianpao if it's locked into like Crunch or Icicle Crash. So it does have its purpose, but Clodsire completely shuts it down. Clodsire is annoying for a lot of different stuff. Like, my Scissor doesn't really appreciate Clodsire. Obviously, Garnokrakel doesn't. Corviknight is just a sitting duck against it. So Clodsire is something I didn't want to see either. I guess he brought it seeing how many problems Iron Moth gave him, but ironically enough, Iron Moth is one of the ways of breaking through Clodsire for me. But let's see this. So I was seeing this team, I was like, oh shit. Like, I was like, damn. Like, all of the stuff that I kind of didn't want to see, you know. But let's get this on. So I lead with Dragapult as he leads with Great Tusk. I figured he'd either lead with Xianpao, because Xianpao gives me so many problems, right? And I would put him in a situation of mind games where he would hesitate to go for Sucker Punch in case... actually... Oh no, he saw that I was Draco. Okay, he saw from last game that I was Draco, right? So, but still, if he led Xianpao, I would have baited the, like, Ice move and would have gone into Corviknight, for example, you know? So I had, like, different plans around this shit. Him leading Great Tusk, I don't know exactly what Great Tusk this is, because, again, this is a team that I wasn't sure if I had. I didn't know the sets compared to last team. I think this Donphan probably dies to a Draco. It has no... Actually, no, it is max HP. It definitely doesn't die to a Draco. So, for sure, I don't want to just turn 1, attack into the Great Tusk, and then get marked by knockoff. So I decided to U-turn. I guess he doesn't want to take in case... I don't know, in case I'm Specs. He actually might think that I'm Specs. Because Specs Dragapult still outspeeds +1 Dragonite, and we went for Draco Meteor into a +1 Dragonite last game. That's the only thing that Dragapult did. Right, so I guess he's fearing the Specs, so he switches out, goes into Clodsire. I'm like, okay, fine, like, let's start getting damage with Iron Moth again. Specs Iron Moth, it's time. I just Terra immediately, Terra Flying, go for Hurricane, does 51%, and this seems to be a little bit more PizDev bulky, because if you're max PizDev, I'm pretty sure Hurricane does around 40%. We get the confusion, which is really nice. He doesn't hit himself, he just goes for spikes. But now this is a dirty roll, right? Fucking 51 to 52. He doesn't want to take this chance, goes into Goldango, but Goldango takes 25,000 fucking damage from this shit. Oh my god, bro, look at this, 46%, this is insane. So I just bring in Corviknight because Make It Rain is obvious, or Recover, both work. He just Shadow Balls into Corviknight, again, I just U-turn, vice versa, we'll bring in Iron Moth. The thing is now, no switch-ins to Fiery Dance. Like, Cloudsire gets 2 KO'd by Fiery Dance, so I'm just bringing Iron Moth again. Fiery Dance into Dragonite. We'll get the special attack raise. He extreme speeds immediately instead of setting up, and it does 54%. I do 50% with this one. This is very nice because I just go into Corviknight now. Roost was pretty obvious, but he actually went for extreme speed, which was, I think that was a good play, because I was thinking of just attacking again, thinking he would Roost, but I decided to play it safe. He's down to 18%. He needs to Roost right now. I'm pretty sure I Roost as well, just because I need health for the Xianpao, but it's gonna be really tough regardless. So he switches without getting to full. He switches out, which I guess is a fine play because I was gonna U-turn and break his multi-scale anyways. But again, Iron Moth back out. Multi-scale of Dragonite is already broken. I took a little bit of damage, but this is fine. I Fiery Dance again. I could have Sludge Waved like a Chad, but I didn't want him to go into Cloudsire and get a free recover. So Sludge Wave would have been a throw here, you know. Hurricane could have been a play, but what if he predicted me to predict the Dragonite, stayed in, and killed my Iron Moth? That would have been bad, because Iron Moth could not leave the field without getting at least 1 or 2 kills. I absolutely rely on that, you know? So we get a special attack raise again on the Fire Dance. That's cool, but I have to switch out here, even though he Roosts, which I here could have attacked. That would have been a nice play, but I mean, it's fine. He Dragon Dances in my Corviknight's face, and I'm like, ah, shit. Okay, then. So I go Dragapult. Now, the only way he lives is that if he Terra's normal, right? But that would mean that he would use the Terra at that point, okay? So I'm like, okay, sure, I just fucking go ahead and attack with Draco Meteor. He didn't Terra, which was good. I guess he should have Terra'd, he would have killed me, but then his Terra would have been used. It would have been... He would have been in range of Scissor regardless. You know what I mean? Even if he lived, he would have not been able to Roost. So I guess retaining the Terra was decent for him. So he goes into Great Tusk. I just switch in Corviknight. It's kind of like an answer to Great Tusk, but like it's not that good of an answer. Rocks go up, and this is crucial. You'll see why. Like I go into Goldango, bring in Iron Moth on the. I know that the rocks are up, but with Goldango alive, I'm not gonna be able to defog. That's the only like problem with Iron Moth in this team. Like I need to defog, right? But with Goldangos, especially with fucking Covert Cloak, Recover bullshit, like it's very difficult to get defogs off. So what I decide to do here. I know that it's most likely going to be my last switch in with Iron Moth, but I know that I will guaranteed get a kill right here, no matter what happens, right? Because, and he decides to go into Cloudsire, and trading Iron Moth for Cloudsire, I take that. I'd take that 100%. I know I'm most likely not going to be able to defog for the rest of the game, but it would have been nice to keep this for the Goldango, but I should be fine between Dragapult and Dragonite, you know what I mean? And what I'm going for is I'm going for endgame Dragonite sweep. So killing the opposing Dragonite was pretty good because there is no like interactions with multi-scale. I don't have to break any of that. So I just need to get more damage on the Great Tusk and potentially Volcarona, and then we're chilling. We're looking at the Dragonite endgame. So Xianpao comes out. I should have just let Iron Moth probably die here. Like thinking about it now, I should have let Iron Moth die. This is a banded Xianpao. There's like nothing I can do about this shit because, but then again, if I let Iron Moth die, I decided to keep it as a sack, right? If I let Iron Moth die, I would have to go into Corviknight. Then I would have to U-turn on Goldango again, and Goldango comes in for free. And then what do I bring against Goldango if Iron Moth is already dead? You know what I mean? So like it was a weird little fucking interaction. And if I let Iron Moth die and went into Corviknight, he would have not taken these 2 rounds of Rocky Helmet, which is pretty important actually, because from this range of health, +1 extreme speed without Terra is a roll at this point. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not wrong, because maybe not yet, but this is it's getting closer to the range of extreme speed. That's what I'm trying to say. So we bring in Scissor. I know that, well, here I cannot afford to bullet punch, because if I bullet punch into Volcarona, I will just lose. I will just lose on the spot, right? He gets the flame body immediately, which is really bad. So actually things are looking pretty bad. Like I might be up in terms of Pokemon, but Iron Moth is practically dead to rocks. So this is and Scizor is now burned. Again, Scizor couldn't do shit in both of those games anyways because of Goldango and Volcarona and Great Tusk. It's just difficult. Scizor is just very difficult. For Scizor, it was difficult, which sucks because a lot of times Scizor is a very good end game for me. But yeah, again, I always bring in Garnocracle on the U-turn, always. And I decided to Soul Cure in case Great Tusk comes in. I know that obviously Volcarona will switch out, but he brings in Goldango now. I have to sack the Scizor. So what happens here is that I was actually happy to see Goldango because I want to use Goldango as setup fodder for Dragonite. So this is what I'm gonna try to do in the following few turns. But I bring in a Make It Rain. I let Scizor just die here because it's burnt. It's pretty much like useless. You can still Bullet Punch the Shenpao, but like I'll have ways around it, right? Now I go into Dragapult, and I decided to just go for Shadow Ball, weaken the Goldango potentially. If he decides to like switch out, we get some damage on something. He goes into Volcarona. This is again a fucking defensive Volcarona. You see it goes for Morning Sun. Now Garnocracle, I still don't exactly need health on it, so I just go for Stealth Rock to pressure the Shenpao. Like getting Stealth Rock against Shenpao is really nice. And right now what I'm trying to do is that I sag the Iron Moth, and this is where I tried to set up with Dragonite, I think, if I'm not wrong. Because what happens here? If he goes Great Tusk is the only thing that can take +2 Dragonite like attacks, right? But he's gonna be forced to, or +1 even. He's gonna be forced to Rapid Spin, because if he doesn't Rapid Spin, then Shenpao dies to Extreme Speed even without Terra. So me going for rocks is pressuring Great Tusk to need to Rapid Spin against the Dragonite, potentially giving me even more Dragon Dance boosts, if that makes sense. Yep, this is what I'm going for exactly. See what I mean? He immediately Terra Waters. Terra Water Goldango is interesting, but I guess it works. And stays in Shadow Balls. His play was to go directly into Volcarona, 100%. I was fearing that, or even Great Tusk, that would work. But he stays in and attacks with Goldango. That is amazing. When I saw that, I was really, really happy. This is for sure a misplay from the opposition. 51% does the Make It Rain. He was, I guess, hoping that I'm not Roost, but I am Roost, so I just Roost off here. +2 Great Tusk. I go for +3, because I should be able to, unless he has, like, Ice Spinner, which I thought he didn't. Like, leftovers tend to not to have Ice Spinner, you know what I mean? So now Earth Power, as he brings in hard to Volcarona. I was really happy to see that, too, because as you can see, Volcarona can take a +3 Earthquake, which is crazy, actually, bro. So fucking bulky, that thing. But we kill it. No Will-O-Wisps coming to our side. Now I just Roost, because Make It Rain doesn't do shit. Like, this is over. At this point, this is over. All I have to do is just Roost a couple of times. I can even DD once more. I don't really need to, but it's... I can just attack. I can just kill this, not mess around with crits, you know what I mean? So he just goes into Great Tusk. I think I just Earthquake here. No, I just Roost again, get up to full. And this is pretty much endgame at this point. So I was in a really threatening position. This was my only way to win, because I would have not been able to, like, break through with Dragapult. And even Garnocracle. Garnocracle was useless. It was, as you can see, both of those matchups were quite problematic from a standpoint where a lot of my team was almost useless. Like, I'm talking about Scizor, I'm talking about Garnocracle outside of checking the Volcarona, even Dragapult to an extent, like, you know what I mean? The teams that opposition was using were definitely much better than, I suppose, my team. Even though my team is still pretty good. I like the Specs Volcarona, Specs Iron Moth team. I feel really confident with this team, okay? But in terms of, like, the contents of the opposing team, those teams were, I'd say, probably more, just better against me overall, you know? But we managed to break through, 2-0. We're on to the next round, 2 Gs. 2 Gs to Drifting. It was very nice playing against Drifting. Drifting played overall really well. There was a few misplays that cost Drifting those games, but all in all, as you can see, nobody made incredibly crazy risky plays. I could have made a few more riskier plays. I should have, in fact, probably, but in the end, it still, like, worked out, making safe plays. And yeah, we're on to the next round. I think the next round is gonna start after after like 5th of February. That's a very long tournament, you know, so I want to be in it as long as possible for sure. I'm going to be able to test a lot more. But this is going to be it for today. This is more of a serious video, as you can see. No, like, shit talking as usual, but sometimes you gotta, you know, this is a tournament game. You have to, you have to concentrate a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Thanks for coming through, everybody. They call me the Black Charlie Sheen.